lounging, son.
Welcome to a new series we're doing at the Comic Lounge YouTube channel called Off the Shelf. Today we're going to be talking about Darwyn Cooke's Parker series, the Martini Edition. I read it recently for the first time. Mario's a huge fan, so I'm going to let him take the lead on this episode.
Yep, I'm on the show too. So this series we'll be talking about kind of showcasing specifically, so we're not on camera for this one. We'll be talking specifically about some of the books that we really like.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be collections like this one. Sometimes it'll be single issues. Sometimes it'll be both of us. Sometimes it'll be just one of us. For this one, wanted to start off with something really cool. This is a Martini Edition Parker. Unfortunately, Darwyn Cooke passed away before he finished the second one. The second one is coming out later this year.
Huge loss.
Darwyn Cooke's awesome. He is awesome. Was awesome. He was a huge loss. I really love his art.
I know his art's amazing. I mean, it's very. It evokes kind of like the Batman animated series. I think they took a lot of inspiration from that, or he helped work on the show. I believe. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn.
It definitely reminds you of it. It's that same kind of like classic Art Deco-Inspired kind of art style.
It just has a classic but modern feel to it.
He does a really good job. It's really clean. Another one that kind of reminds it. Chris Omni's a little bit like that too, but Darwyn Cooke does it in his way where it reminds you of the past, but still managing to look like it's a current style.
Yeah, and if you guys aren't familiar with Parker, he also worked on a Catwoman series called The Big Score. It actually was a one-shot. He also worked on the main Catwoman series with Ed Brubaker and classic DC book, The New Frontier, which has been relabeled as Black Label. If you know me, you know I'm not a fan of this rebranding, but whatever. I still love my DC books. But yeah, let's dive into this.
Yeah, so this is the adaptation of a novel series starting in the late 50s into the 60s. There's a number of books, and so this collects some of the first few ones. Mm-hmm. So this is an adaptation. So if we talk about one of the podcasts where some of the material isn't quite modern, like where Parker's kind of a douchebag, if you're being honest.
Oh, well, are you referring to the treatment of women?
Yeah,
yeah. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but at the same time, I mean, these novels are held in high regard.
Yeah,
for people that
it's a product of its time.
If you like Frank Miller, if you like Ed Brubaker, if you like Greg Rucka, you can see by reading Parker that this is where they got a lot of the inspiration. Mm-hmm. Frank Miller's Sin City is known very much for the yarns, I think is what he calls it. Which is that you have a bunch of short stories that are kind of interconnected, but there's no continuity. You don't have to worry about that. Parker's kind of like that too, where you have a series of different stories that follow Parker, the main character, and they're not necessarily continuity. There are this continuity where he changes his face.
Yeah.
But there is no specific. It's not like superhero comics where you're specifically worried about how this leads to issue 3 sets of issue 15 or whatever.
Right.
This doesn't do that. So, this is a very high-regarded series, both in novel form and in the comic adaptation. So, and this is a Martini that is available in smaller trades. Yeah. That you can get still, and the Martini Edition I think recently got reprinted. This is just a nice collection where it has intros, and I believe it has some intros.
It has an interview with Darwyn. Ed Brubaker's on there too.
There's even Darwyn Cooke drew Ed Brubaker standing in like an alley or whatever, but
I think this is definitely worth the price of admission. I'm a huge fan of collections like this where, first of all, they're oversized. I like to see the art like big. Like how it was originally drawn. I think it's a touch.
It's a little bit smaller than that,
but this book was fucking awesome. Dude.
This is my favorite collection. Period. I think they did a really good job. I like the look of it. It's a slipcase cover. You can see right here. This is the slipcase cover. The book itself is right below it. I think it's leather. It's a really nice book, and I like that you do see a lot of intro material and other material, and that you wouldn't get in the trade. That's really cool. Overall, I like the package.
Yeah, let's fucking crack this bad boy open, dude.
So you can see immediately there's a graphic design that you see here. It's
perfect, dude. All right, let's get into it. So you got the foreword. Written by Darwyn Cooke himself in 2011. Let's get into it. The contents, obviously.
And I think
this is...
that's Ed right there.
There's Ed Brubaker. This is the interview we were talking about. Look at this shit, dude. It's fucking... And then interspersed with art. You know what I'm saying? And then some of the Parker... The movies, right, that they based...
Some of the adaptations. You've had only a few. So Donald Westlake wrote Parker, and... They didn't allow anyone to use a Parker name in the olden days. Okay. Unfortunately, there was a Parker movie that came out that's not great. It came out after he passed away. Donald Westlake also passed away, so we lost Cook and Westlake.
Yeah. All right, let's flip this. More interviews. A lot of interview pages.
There's a lot of extra material.
Definitely worth it. But I want to get into the art because the fucking
there's a lot of conversation here also about just crime comics.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, so this is the
Look at that page, bro.
Yeah.
He draws some beautiful women, dude. Let me tell you.
So if you I guess if you have no idea what this is, kind of thinks like James Bond. This is kind of that kind of character, that kind of book.
He's a little bit more of a douchebag.
He's because he's a criminal, so he's not an agent. He's a criminal, but that kind of tone is kind of what it's what this book is kind of like that. Except imagine if James Bond was a criminal.
Right, and I'm kind of an asshole, so I kind of relate to him on that way. Except I don't treat the women the way.
Yeah, no,
he treats the women.
Christ.
I'm not about that, but I'm an asshole. I related to him in that respect. So, yeah, dude. I mean, one of the best books that I've had recommended to me by a friend, was this book, and I appreciate it. I mean, I knew about it. I just didn't read it. I mean, I love Brubaker, so this should have been a given that I was going to like this, So let's get in the fucking opening pages of the first book, right?
Yeah. Well, this is just an introduction to Parker as a character, and I like this. His face was a chip chunk of concrete with eyes.
Look at that, dude. You can feel...
You see that stare.
You see that fucking... Dude, that's fucking like...
Yeah, so this is a good way. This is just amazing how Darwyn was able to take a character that was just on paper through words, and actually personify it into 2D art.
Yeah.
And the ability to like portray it because he does this minimalist style too, where there aren't a whole lot of lines, but he does a really good job of getting exactly what's going on and what the tone is. Mm-hmm. I think also the colors, this thing should be pointed out too.
Oh yeah, just
so the whole
color, dude.
Right. So right now this is all stuff that's just introductory material still.
Let's get into it. Hold on, before you fucking start saying shit, dude.
Yeah. See, there's a ton.
Boom, dude. Look at that. Hold on. Look at that. Fuck.
So if you watched Civil War
I don't even think they can
or
see
Winter
the color
Soldier,
as much.
and then you've seen because people made fun of like how they would be like winter 1954, and it'd have these huge white letters.
Yeah.
That's not an accident, and it's not just because the Russo brothers were being dumb. That's a reference to old like crime pulp books and movies, which is what this is a reference to also.
Yeah. I think you can't see the color as good on the camera. I feel for you guys out there. I wish you could see the beauty and the simplicity of it.
So this is book 1, and so the colors are very minimal.
Yeah.
Usually it's generally just 2 colors, or black, white, and like blue, or other colors, but it's typically just 3 colors.
Right. And look, just from the opening pages, like you have very, very little dialogue, but his pacing and how he takes you from one image to the next, it's just fucking, look at that. And then she looks at it, sees it, and boom. She's like, oh shit, and she turns away. It's just fucking so good, dude. I was gushing over every panel of this fucking book. I'm like, this is just...
it's amazing because you're taking a novel where you're explaining what he's doing. Parker does this happens, and then how do you translate that into panel? Not even a movie, panels.
Yeah.
But this is masterfully. I think, to me, honestly, this is a masterpiece.
It is. It's a master of his craft, and this is his like magnum opus. I think. Right?
So. I mean, as much as like New Frontier is considered.
I think
also,
it is too, but like this is like.
But this is, I think, this is something that was very dear to Darwyn Cooke, and
yes.
I think he really wanted to.
There he goes with his women again, bro.
He wanted to really take special consideration into doing it well.
You talk. I'm gonna keep flipping.
You can tell there's a lot of effort. I don't think even other than New Frontier, I don't think there's anything he's done that the art is this high quality. Like clearly he.
And this is watercolor, right? Or is this not watercolor?
I'm not sure what the coloring.
It feels like it's watercolor.
Well, it's clearly you can see that there's like brush strokes. You can see that the color is added over the inks and just like a brush stroke approach, and very, very simple.
There's just a rawness to this art.
And you can see some of this here. I mean, like look at that face. It's very minimal lines where you just have the eyes combined with the eyebrows,
but he conveys the emotion.
Yeah, you get
so little.
And the fact that you see the smoke, it's just there's a tone and a feeling of what's happening and where Parker is and what kind of person he is just through the art itself.
Yeah. There you go again. No dialogue, but you get the fucking point, dude. Look at this shit.
Yeah, so he's a con artist. He's a grifter. He's
fucking making his fake ID, crumbles it.
So you can see the bottom here. You can see what the story is called. It's called The Hunter.
Yeah.
And here he's just starting to come back and getting himself sorted. So he's stealing and conning his way to get money just to get by. And
then he fucking crumbled it to make it look old.
Yep. To make it look like it's not a copy.
Oh god. Genius. And it's just like, you know exactly what the fuck is going down.
Yeah.
Right? There's no question about what's happening in these scenes. And that's, again, a master storyteller in Darwyn Cooke. I mean,
yeah,
to be able to convey everything where you're not like questioning what's happening,
and it's not even a script that he wrote. It's you're trying to convey
something that somebody else
wrote, and that other people who have read the novels have a clear idea. And look at this panel right here, this page. Look at that look in his eyes, and that's kind of like, you remember the introductory part that we talked about earlier, where you can see that look on his eyes, where the description of who Parker is. And here it's without that introduction, you immediately know what kind of man he. Look at the look on his eyes.
I know, dude.
It's intense.
He's been through some shit.
It's like, intensity. He's a tough guy. He does not fuck around. He does not play games. He's out for himself. He's kind of an asshole because he is so out for himself.
Yeah,
which is kind of one of the themes throughout the book. It depends. Each book is a little bit different. They have this is just a few of the stories. But each of the stories has a different tone and a different message. And I think some of them, it is about him learning how to like depend on people or not always be alone. I think the second book, it deals with a lot about that, about losing your hunger, where he deals with an old crime boss who kind of lost the hunger because he's kind of old and retired. Yeah. And he looks back and realizes that he used to be Parker. But age and comfort have kind of taken away that edginess that Parker has.
Right.
So, but look at that art style. And like I was saying before.
Oh, see, there you see it right here.
You see the brush.
I don't know if you can catch it. You can't catch this on camera, but you can see the marker strokes. I didn't even see this when I read it the first time. The lighting's way better here, but you see it right here.
Oh, well, so the other approach too. This is all traditional. I don't think this isn't digital at all. And when you end up getting, you can see in this one right here, you can see that the black is brushed on in a very rough way. Where you can see that the texture of the brush or the marker that was used.
See it here too in the alley walls.
As opposed to what you see with a lot of more modern superhero stuff, where it's all clear colors. I mean, look at this. This is fucking gorgeous. But look at the
again with the fucking. You see the fucking swipe of the.
But look at the way that there's the color, the hair, very very minimal lines. Is just use the blue. It's like a very light gray blue. But you still get the feeling for her color and the volume in her hair, without any real lines. Just a few lines here to give you an idea that it's hair. I mean, look at that, man. I know, it's gorgeous. So I mean, so this is your first time. Have you read anything that you feel is up to this kind of level? Would you say Frank Miller's art, even though it's different, is kind of his own version of this?
He's definitely inspired.
Yeah.
He has to be inspired by this type of stuff. I don't know necessarily Darwyn Cooke, because this book, when did this come out? Originally.
The novel?
Yeah. No, the Darwyn Cooke adaptation.
Oh, no, this is way later.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, like, I don't know what Darwyn Cooke was doing when Frank Miller did Sin City, but Frank Miller's inspired by shit like this. Clearly. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see it in his early Sin City work.
Yeah.
Later on, fucking...
Yeah, he does
what he does.
But yeah, Frank Miller's inspired by Parker, the novel.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's definitely a fan. And like we were saying earlier, Brubaker, there's a scene in here. Let me get to it. Oh, fucking...
Yeah, and like Brubaker's Criminal series follows this kind of idea where you have a bunch of different stories that are kind of tangentially related, where you have a lot of families.
This page composition.
Yeah.
This is like... this is where Brubaker...
So that's the other thing, yeah.
Brubaker got this from Cooke.
Yeah.
Because he has this in Kill or Be Killed. And he has it in Criminal.
Yeah.
Like this exact page composition where it's just one image and then the dialogue all on the side. And I've always loved that. And I never knew that it was in here. You know? So I flipped to this page and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Fucking Brubaker. He fucking stole it.
Well, because a lot of them have the same kind of influences.
Right.
They're all coming from the same stuff. Well, actually, Sin City has this too.
I didn't know. I haven't read a lot. I'll be honest, I haven't read a lot since.
Because we talked about it in Comic Marauders, and there's panels like that too.
Okay, maybe I did notice. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention as much.
So you start realizing that some of this stuff, and my point is that Franklin didn't come up with this. He didn't invent that.
Right.
But it's been around for decades. That's another thing too.
Heist.
So depending on the book, he plays around a lot with the structure. Where at first, like we saw with this story originally, The Hunter, the beginning of it is a lot of him kind of going through the motions of doing the things that he's doing. And then it switches approach, which you can see here that the last few pages have all been like this, where we have a lot of text on the side and then the panel and actual art.
And then I think he's like using zipatone here, right? That's what this is?
Yeah.
His coloring technique, I think, is zipatone. Because you can kind of see it. I mean, I stole that from Kayfabe channel. I learned it on there. But, But yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
It's a nod to the old
coloring. It has that fucking... You feel like you're almost reading an old comic.
Yeah. Well, this is... Yeah.
It's not just set in an old time period.
No, I mean, this is only like 10 years old.
Yeah.
But the whole point is to make it feel like something old, something that is a nod to the old.
Look at that fucking panel right there, dude. All right, let's get into... And I like this. At the beginning of every book, it's just a full page.
Of just book 2.
There's no panels. No, not that. Just like no panels. It's just one image with some dialogue in it, Let's go into the second book. Oh, look at this, though, real quick. I can't fucking...
Yeah. I mean, that's gorgeous.
Oh, my God.
I mean...
and you kind of... Yeah. You can see, like, a little bit of the imperfections, which makes it perfect.
Yeah. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that digital art is so much simpler and so much easier.
No characters.
He
composes the scene, dude.
He plays around a lot with the structure of it. There's... Which one is the outfit? Where it's about a kind of a heist, and then there's a section where it even goes into how different this criminal organization, a different structure of how they get money and how it works with bookies, and like how the bookies have to create a different system in case they get overwhelmed with too many bets, and how it goes up the chain. And that is told in a way where there's a lot of written word, and there's just kind of a panel by panel giving you information on how this works. How does this dealing work? How does this crime work? How does this equal to where does that money go? Who handles the money? Who handles the accounts? And that's pages for pages.
Yeah.
And so he's constantly playing around with the structure of it, where it's not just, like something like this, where you're seeing characters interact and going and talking, and it makes it interesting because it's not, you don't get stuck in the same seeing Parker do the same thing again. No, it's like it's a very different approach every time.
Yeah.
And I think it's Darwyn trying to play around with how he's conveying the art and conveying the book, so it's not, you don't get bored.
Go into the second book. Even the color of the pages are different here. I wonder if was that intentional or...
I don't know.
Yeah, because they're kind of like yellowish right here. I don't know. You probably can't catch that on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's got like a yellow tint to these pages.
Yellow tint to these pages with the blue, and it
makes it look old.
Yeah.
It makes it look like a book that's been sitting around for 20 years. Yeah, you can see a little bit more here where we start seeing that too, where when he gets to the point where he needs kind of exposition, instead of having it, he tries to make it interesting by having a gorgeous art piece like this and then just kind of telling you what it is.
Did he letter this himself?
I don't know.
I'll edit this out.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of detail in the words of Richard Stark.
Yeah, so I think he even hand lettered it. The lettering on this book is amazing too.
If it's done physical, I mean, how else would you do it?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That doesn't look like a typeface. I mean, it could be. I could be wrong. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not a letterer. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But, look at that, and that has to be like mixed media. That has to be like a scan. He didn't draw that fucking map right there. All right, let's get into the. Get out of this book.
And look at that.
Look at that.
Simple, but effective.
Now we have a new color. So now this, that's what I liked about it too. Like he has different colors to each chapter. I love the orange.
Because each
again, dude.
Yeah, each book's got a different tone. Because each book's like a different approach. So like one of them's a heist, another one's like revenge, another one's like him on the run, another one's
and he changed his face here too.
Yeah,
now he looks different,
and then the colors change. This is more of a copper burnt orange kind of look. Like it's got call outs here, and then the letter itself is text, and then it's got this information around it.
I love this. I liked this story.
So Parker gets burned with an outfit, a criminal outfit. So he changes his face so he can come back into town, so nobody knows who he is. And that is this kind of continuity to runs too, because the next story also deals with that fact that he's back in town. And then I like the ones where you get to see the different crew that he works with.
Yeah, yeah.
So it turns now then you get like an ocean, like the heist one has like an Ocean's 11 kind of vibe to it.
Have that kind of vibe, yeah.
Where you get the different roles and the different cons and the different things they're trying to pull.
You got this fucking backstabbing bitch.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have
She
called
like
it that.
she stabs the guy and like leaves him dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she takes off with the car. Yeah, this is like then they go into like the how they do the heist and how they do like the situation and like the setup of the cars.
I almost could have just read a wordless comic by him, and I would have been fine with it.
Oh, 100%.
I wouldn't have felt robbed at all.
There are segments of this where it's wordless or mostly wordless for 4 pages,
you have
other than like
2 pages and you have 1 word balloon. You know, that's another thing he's really good at. Is like I said earlier, is conveying the emotion in the eyes and the mouth.
Yeah. And conveying the tone.
Yeah.
Like with the earlier one, the Hunter, there's a lot of...
Another thing is, you're saying tone. Usually colorists use color to set tone. He doesn't do that.
No.
Because he only has... I think it's harder to do...
When you only have one color.
Right. Now, maybe that's why he's choosing the colors, because he's trying to get that feeling that color gives. Like, I know... I'm not going to pretend to know everything, but I know, like, red and yellow convey a feeling of hunger. That's why McDonald's uses red and yellow in their fucking logo.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know, maybe like blue is more of like a depressed feeling. I don't know if that's what he was going for in the other one.
Well, yeah, it's also not a dark, nice, bright blue. It's a very like drab, like dull blue.
Dull. Yeah.
And that series is about him coming back. Because at the very beginning, the whole point is he's coming back with nothing and trying to get himself some pocket money, which is all the deals he's doing to try to get himself sorted out.
Mm-hmm. And then this has like a desert type feeling, you know, like with this color. I don't know why. I don't even know if it is in the fucking desert, but it does have these like scenes of like the long fields, you know.
I mean, like the cars too.
Dude, there's a fucking page in here. I don't know if it's in the next story, but it has. Oh,
look at that. This is the outfit. This is what I was talking about. So now he comes back because he burned Bridges with the criminal outfit. He's trying to get them off his back.
What they call it. The
outfit.
It's fucking dope. It's not the mob. It's not the fucking crime.
Right.
It's the outfit.
Yep.
It's a dope fucking name for it. And then boom, look at this again. I loved the coloring in this one. It's a little bit of a brighter blue because you're in Miami, so you get that kind of, you know, ocean vibe. Oh, or it's kind of like almost like purplish.
Yeah, it's
right?
like a purple blue.
Yeah.
A midnight blue.
Yeah. Okay, midnight blue. That's a good description. Boom. Look at that fucking gun right there, dude.
Intensity.
Yeah.
But like James Bond, I get a lot of the like 'cause he's always banging some random secretary or something like that, and so you get the same kind of vibe. But he uses them like it's as disposable, which is kind of
there's no emotion. That's kind of like the only down part of this book is the way women are treated. So I don't know that women maybe would appreciate it as much, maybe seeing them like that, unless you can kind of just put yourself in the mindset of the time that it was set in.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's trying to convey that he doesn't like women.
It's not,
you know what I'm saying?
It's not. It's the same thing with James Bond, which is not that the author's necessarily saying this is who I am. It's more of imagine a character that's like this. Imagine a character that's so cold and calculated that is only out for himself and just doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
What would he do?
Right.
And this is who that is.
And that's who he is. Motherfucking Parker.
Yep.
Hold on. I wish I could find that fucking...
And the character designs I love because like how varying and different they are, and they're very, very unique. So it's a lot with this one.
It's fucking Weasley looking. Dude.
Yeah.
Like I want to.
And the outfit is the one I was talking about. That it kind of feels like a Ocean's 11 vibe.
Yeah.
You start seeing a bunch of other characters and people that he's friends with, and you start seeing that they're very unique, and you can immediately identify them and see who they are. And I think he does it very well with his character designs.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I liked this part too. That looks like it's almost like mixed media, like scanned in. You know what I'm saying? And then he does touch up over it.
Yeah.
The logos. I love this one too. That's a good fucking.
Well, taking the. I think there's another scene where there's like a poker scene later on where you're dealing with the leader of the outfit, and you get different. Like he gets different. It's not just side shots where you see people talking. Occasionally, he'll mess around with the different approaches when he's trying to tell you how something's worked out. So you get the top-down or isometric view. Earlier, you saw it with the cards and how they were
cinematic. He's very cinematic.
A lot of this reminds me of Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I mean, I totally see it. You know, now that I wasn't thinking it when I read it, but now that you're fucking saying it, now I'm like putting all the pieces back together in my head. And then
look at that. This is something you mentioned earlier. Every time a book starts, every time a new book starts, this is exactly how he starts with a lot of negative space. It's simple, but I mean, look at this, and obviously it's trying to get your eye to look at the Route 69.
I said wordless, dude. I'd be cool if every page was like this too.
I think there's a version of this where you could probably make it mostly wordless. And just try to tell the story just through the visuals.
I want to get to that fucking page. And I always like these parts.
There's a lot of that. There's maps. There's like
yeah.
infographic kind of things, but in a very simplistic, like 50s, 40s kind of style. See, it's something again. Another simplistic first page. Oh, this is what I was talking about.
Oh, when they're playing Monopoly,
where he's trying to explain how the outfit does does their crime and how it kind of links together. And I love how this. You get the little Monopoly guy here, and you can see the jail card here. That's what I was saying. He plays around with the structure of it a lot. Whereas, like, I'm going to give you exposition, but I'm going to make it fun and interesting by giving you these really cool infographics and make it kind of themed around Monopoly.
I know. I like these pages too. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like when I flipped and I just like quick glance, you know, before I actually read.
You're like, why does this look so much different?
Why is this fucking Monopoly, dude? And then it made perfect sense. Oh, look at this right here too. This one was really weird when I first started reading. I'm like, I almost thought I was in back matter for a second, you know, because then it fucking it goes into like this. It's a Richard Stark fucking written story, right?
Yeah.
Just straight pages of fucking.
Yeah, this is just like a book with some illustrations.
Yeah. And then you go into here, and then this part, and I was like,
this is the stuff we're talking about. This is basically how this whole betting on horses works.
It's fucking so strange, dude. The fucking art style too is different.
It's complete. It's a cartoony, like comic strip approach to it, as opposed to that one we were used to before.
Right, and I was like, what the fuck am I reading right now?
And if anything, you actually see more color now because he's dealing with grays.
Yeah. You
got these grays with different shades, so you're actually dealing with like 3 or 4 colors, which is just
this fucking Mr. Magoo looking motherfucker. Dude.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this shit, dude? I mean,
there's more of
I
that
read it.
too.
I almost skipped it. I'm like, fuck, I'll read it. I gotta know what's going on, you know. And then this was kind of at first, like I started reading it wrong too. I wasn't following it. I went down, and I'm like, wait a second.
The black lines.
Then I realized it's divided for a reason.
Yeah, he puts a deep black line. Look at this. But like I said, playing around with the structure, playing around with storytelling.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, this is we start seeing the leader of the outfit, who he's gonna have a conversation with Parker. Parker's just trying to get the outfit off his back. He's not necessarily out to get them. It's just that they're after him. They're throughout this book, they try to kill him, and it's not that he necessarily hates them.
I like how he fucking goes to the second in command.
Yeah.
And he basically makes him agree, like
he bets on the fact that you're second in command. At some point, you know you're gonna have to get rid of him if you want to be first.
So let me do it for you.
So I'll take care of it, and then you back off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, it's gorgeous.
Hold on. This right here, this fucking page right here was what I was talking about. I fucking loved this for some reason this just jumped out at me. The fucking panels up here, and then the full view of the front of the car,
and the contrast.
And they're just like,
well, there's also a huge contrast between like the black
and
background and the blue light,
and black and white right here.
Yeah. I think it's trying to denote time, right? It's that he started driving in the day and went to the night, or vice versa. I thought that was what I was trying to say.
Yeah. You probably picked up on something I missed. That shit went right over my head.
Look at that. Look at that.
The reflection in the water.
Yeah, you can see the reflection of the sign, and then look at the shadow. It's gorgeous. I mean, like, you could almost feel that scene.
Yeah. Oh, here it comes. About to go take this motherfucker out.
Yeah, so he's confronting
let's get to
the main guy.
There we go.
He sneaks around the house. He's got a bunch of bodyguards. And I think his lawyer is there, too.
Yeah, his lawyer.
Yeah.
And then they also talk about the reason that he's able to fucking take them out so quick is that these fools...
They haven't been challenged for a long...
They haven't been challenged in years, so, like, they don't know how to fucking...
Well, even... So they keep going after their empire.
Right, they're going after the shit that they own.
And one of the guys talks about, like, the analysis that, well, the reason why we've been hit is because we haven't really planned for it anymore.
Yeah.
We're so big and everybody's scared of us that they're employees. We don't really... Yeah.
They're just regular...
Well, that's the message of the book, is about how... The main guy used to be Parker when he was younger, but he got comfortable, and he started realizing, oh, this isn't an outfit of badass criminals anymore. This is a bunch of employees, and I've gotten soft. We lost the hunger, and so he I don't know. It's an interesting, and it
is very interesting.
At the same time, there's a scene where Parker, his friend, is like, "I'll go with you, not because I want you to pay me, but just because you're my friend." And then Parker has that scene where he thinks about it like, fuck, I can't use that guy anymore because he's losing his edge. Even though his friend is being his friend, he's like, I can't use you because you're my friend. You're weak.
No, yeah. Then we got this. This was a add-on story, right? This wasn't. This was produced specifically for this collection.
I believe. Yeah. And there'll be on the second Martini edition. There'll be one of these by Ed Brubaker. Look at that. It's just striking.
Like that, or but you don't see this. You just don't fucking see this in comics that much. Like when you get something like this,
this is like Long Halloween.
Yes,
it's something like that where you had seen Tim Sale doing this same kind of approach. And there's a reason why Long Halloween's a classic, right? Because it is that kind of approach to. So this is going over some of the different films and different adaptations of Parker and Stark's work in Hollywood.
So this is Darwyn Cooke's art, though, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just like Jack Palance, Lee Marvin, and it's just all the different adaptations we've seen. Look at that, dude. 60s hair, bro.
Yeah. And this is just a brief explanation of what the image is a reference to.
I think Robert Redford, fucking Robert Duvall. It's fucking dope, dude.
Yep, I mean, you know who that is. Dark Knight.
That's the Michael Caine.
Yeah.
I couldn't picture him at first. Yeah, that's fucking dope. I think Jason Statham did one too, right?
Fuck.
You like Jason Statham, bro? You like Jason Statham?
Mel Gibson, right?
Payback. Yeah.
I do like that movie, actually. There he is.
Little bald-headed fucker right there.
The movie was so bad.
I know, I didn't watch it. Yeah. Then a closing off letter, right? By Darwyn Cooke. And that
is a Martini Edition.
Is Martini Edition Book 1.
Yeah, there's another one coming. There are more stories than that. He unfortunately didn't get to finish. I mean, you could imagine something like this is going to take a shit ton of time.
Yeah, he's doing everything. I mean, that's why I said I think he lettered it, because look at that.
This is all 100% Darwyn. So Brubaker has taken over, completing the collection.
Right.
He is writing his own.
I know he said that's kind of like. He was like kind of hesitant to do it too, right?
Yeah, he's dealing with the Westlake estate, and he's hesitant to touch it. I think they wanted him to do something, and he's like, I don't want to try. Yeah. Now I'm living up to people.
Right.
I'm trying to pay respect to Donald Westlake, and I'm trying to pay respect to Darwyn Cooke.
Right.
And he's like, I can't.
That's hard.
I can't do that.
To do, bro. Yeah.
So he wanted to do his own thing that he came up with. So it's not compared to either of them, which is understandable. So yeah, check it out. I mean, hopefully you've read this. If you haven't, and you've been let us spoil all this for you, you should check it out.
Sorry, I kind of went like I was like flipping through. I was admiring the artwork again.
Just so you got a context to what it is. This is something special.
Yeah,
that I really enjoy.
So this is the first episode of that's going to be an ongoing series of Off the Shelf.
Yeah, this is just stuff that we have on our shelves that we want to check out and showcase.
Yeah, just shit that we love. We're not gonna sit here and bore you guys with stuff we don't want to talk about, obviously. So haven't decided what's next, but just stay tuned. And if you like this, leave some comments below. Let us know what you think. Maybe if you have any suggestions, anything you'd like to see us cover, you can also drop that in the comments below. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at The Comic Lounge, thecomiclounge.com. Those links will also be down below in the description. And yeah, I think that's it. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Peace.